Hello friends, and welcome back to the Mothership. Today we are smoking up our very own Char Siu. Let's get started. Now to start with our Char Siu, the first thing that we need to do is make our barbecue sauce. Which, if you're wondering, Char Siu is Cantonese essentially for barbecue pork. So the first thing I'm going to do is soy sauce, hoisin, honey, sesame oil, rice wine vinegar, brown sugar, Chinese 5 spice, oyster sauce, garlic powder, and dried ginger. Now this last step here is optional, but to get it that real color, I'm going to put in some red food coloring as well. Now there's an awful lot of sugar in here, so we need to put it onto the burner, melt it down, get all that sugar nice and melted and dissolved in here before we use it to start marinating. This is a boneless pork butt. All I really want to do here is give it a peek to make sure that there is nothing funky going on and not do too much trimming, maybe a little bit of extra fat, but let's see what we're working with. So this actually looks pretty good. A little bit of this fat might come off, but I'm really not going to do too much. You kind of want it to be kind of a fatty piece that'll give you, that better experience. It'll taste better and all that jazz. I like how this one's kind of in log shape. Sometimes when you get them, they really just fold open. But this will allow us to slice it off nice and pretty. Honestly, I think this is probably good to go. So all we're going to do here, yeah, this is good. All we're going to do here is get a Ziploc bag, toss it in. If yours doesn't fit in a Ziploc bag, then, you do you can make it work. Some sort of Tupperware will probably do it. But I would recommend against Tupperware if you are using the red dye, because you might never have non-red Tupperware ever again. But what we're going to do is just pour our sauce in here. And I let mine cool off completely. You want to let it cool off, obviously, because otherwise you'll start cooking the exterior of the pork, which you don't want to do. So let's get this. Man, I should have done a Halloween episode with this, right? Look at that. Jeez. Get it nice and coated to start. And then this is going to go into my fridge for about 24 hours. You could probably go 48 with this one. We really want all this to really penetrate into the meat. So I'm just gonna keep moving it around every couple hours when I'm awake. Obviously overnight, I'll let it do its thing. But we just wanna make sure that everything stays in contact with some liquid. So this looks nice and red and bloody. And into the fridge it goes until tomorrow. Our smoker is up to temp at 225, and I have put our pork butt on. I'm gonna run this till it hits an internal of about 150, honestly. It is a couple things worth noting here. If you follow my recipe and used red dye, just remember that you used red dye and it will stain everything. So this is a good time to use gloves and to make sure you don't get on anything that you don't want stained. Second, I'm going to reserve the marinade that we used. I'm going to reduce a little bit and probably add it back on as we're going through here. It's kind of liquid to keep from drying out. And potentially maybe glaze over towards the end, but we will see. At this point, we're probably looking, I don't know, somewhere between 3 and 6 hours. I have no idea. We'll find out. We are about 3 hours into this cook. We're actually getting kind of close. My goal was to cook to about 150. We're at maybe 135 right now. So what I'm gonna do is take some of that sauce that I have reduced and just start basting it all over. This is an optional step. You obviously don't have to do this. The goal here is just to get to about 150 and then pull it. We're not cooking this like a pulled pork. Doesn't need to break down cartilage. We just want this to be cooked through and be nice and tender and delicious. And about 3.5 hours later at 225, and this pork butt is done. Now the crazy part here is that even though we have all this red dye on the pork, we still have a really nice smoke ring. I mean, look at that. Absolutely fantastic. Looking great. It's got a nice pink color to it. You can see the smoke ring. Looking great. And I think it's about time for us to give it the old taste test. But before we do that, guys, if you enjoy this type of content, hit that subscription button down below. It makes me feel super duper happy and loved inside, and you guys want me to feel that way. But without further ado, it's time to give the old-fashioned chomp. Ready? When you get really bad quality Chinese food, it has a certain taste to it. Like, that you're eating something really bad for you, and it's great, but at the same time, it's not great. This is the opposite side of that. This is a made fresh. We know everything that's in here. Delicious pork butt. We know all the internal flavorings. And you can actually tell that it's real food. It's very, very good. The way that we made it here probably could use a little bit more sugar to get that sweetness, which I will have updated in the recipe down below. But as it is right now, it is fantastic. You can taste all of that hoisin sauce, that oyster sauce, and it just has that nice soy Asian flavor to it with that 5 spice definitely coming through. Maybe a bit more sugar, like I said. I think I will reflect that down below, and I'll test it before I publish this so you guys know it's gonna be good. But this is fantastic as it is. We're probably gonna plate this with some ramen, maybe some vegetables, but this is gonna be a really nice cook for us tonight, guys. If you are looking to do something a little bit different, you wanna make some Asian style food, this is Asian barbecue, guys. This is fantastic. If you decide to make this recipe, please let me know your thoughts down below. What could we do differently? And as always, guys, cook something fantastic, and I'll catch you on the next cook.